for another installment of my show on location in Wilton, Connecticut with my girl Beth.
Hola!
And today we're going to be doing some Cuban food, which Beth is an expert of. And we're going to be making a dish called tostones, which are a staple in the Cuban culture. And if you watch Beth, she's going to show you how to make this dish. It's really, really easy. We only have 10 minutes and she can do it in under that. So,
okay, let's hope so. Tostones are traditionally made with the green plantains, or plátanos in Espanol, and because they're more starchy than the yellow ones. The yellow ones are sweeter and are used in different dishes, but the tostones are traditionally used with the green ones. So what you do is you peel the skin off, like so, and then you cut the plantain into about 1-inch chunks. I have some vegetable oil heating up here in my wok. We're doing cross-cultural cooking today. So I have this in these 1-inch blocks and I'm going to stick it in. Turn up the oil.
make it nice and hot so they don't just sit in the oil. And while Beth is doing that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about tostones. So originally, they were brought over from Cuba by the African slaves who were not able to bring food on their ships, but they certainly brought their culture with them. They cooked with maize, okra, and cassava. And of course, the Spanish were already there, thanks to Christopher Columbus. And they had oranges, lemons, rice, and vegetables. And so the two cultures merged. And tostones today still are a staple in Cuban cooking. Is that right?
Absolutamente.
So how long do you cook these for?
Oh, I don't know. You have to wait until they get golden. And these are actually twice fried. They're called, a lot of people refer to them as twice fried plantains, which means that I'm going to fry them till they're golden, then I take them out, smash them down, and then I'll put them in, which I will show you as we move along here. You may notice in the background we're listening to...
Who is that?
Buena Vista Social Club, which is a band that was formed in Cuba back really before pre-Castro, and then they had a reunion in the early 2000s, and they made a movie, and they're very traditionally Cuban. So
do you have to turn those as you're cooking them, Beth, or you just sort of move them around in the oil?
Just moving them around. They don't really need to. They're kind of submerged in the oil.
So when Beth and I were getting ready to do the show, we thought we'd do a little bit of research about the history of Cuba, because I'm always interested in where things came from. It's not enough that they just are. I want to know where they came from, why they exist. So we learned some really interesting stuff about Cuba.
Yes, we did.
For those of you who don't know, it's only 90 miles off the coast of Key West, south. It is the largest island in the West Indies, and it was discovered in 1492 by Christopher Columbus. And he's making a guest appearance on our show too. We don't like him too much. I don't know why the history books celebrate him, because as far as I'm concerned, he's just a European dude who screwed over the indigenous people.
Absolutely.
And I don't want any hate mail on this one either, people. It's a cooking show, right, Beth?
Absolutely.
So, in 1492, when Columbus, we'll leave him here so he can, we're not going to feed you though. After he discovered Cuba, it was settled 9 years later by his son Diego. And the original inhabitants of Cuba were the Arawak Indians, which basically, when the Spaniards came and Christopher Columbus came, he pretty much wiped them out. Once he wiped them out, because they were the people who worked in the mines and the sugarcane fields, he had to import slaves from Africa to work in those plantations. And so the Cuban food is really influenced, as we said, by those two cultures, the Spaniards and the Africans. And then, of course, because it was a shipping port, it's got Chinese and Portuguese and various other influences as well. But I'd say the primary staple would be rice and beans.
Tostones, and black beans in Cuba.
Black beans. And while Beth is cooking those too, we also made some mojitos.
Which is also one of Cuba's oldest cocktails. It comes from the African word mojo, spelled mojo for you Yankees.
Or linguists.
And mojo means to place a little spell. What do you think, Sarah?
Well, I think we should place a little spell, and I think that we should toast our friend Francis Drake, better known as El Dragon, or the Dragon.
The Dragon. There's two kind of versions of how the mojito came to Cuba.
He doesn't get a frame. No frame for you.
No frame for him. He was not a good
He was
guy.
a bad pirate dude.
A bad pirate dude. El Drake.
We'll put you next to over here
The
next
one
to
theory
Cuba.
is that in the 1500s, Francis Drake came to Cuba and invented the mojito, which was supposedly used for medicinal purposes at the time, so they say. So that's one theory. And the other theory is that the slaves in the 19th century who worked the sugarcane fields sort of came up with the mojito as a way to kind of deal with what they were going to go through.
Great.
So pick your theory. Who knows? We weren't there.
So what's happening over here
But
now?
they're a delicious
They
cocktail.
are delicious, and by the
nonetheless.
time this cooking show is over, we'll be happy.
We're happy already.
We're happy now. Okay.
We're happy
So
now.
what's happening?
Okay, so the plantanos here are browning. I can see them browning in here very nicely in the oil. And in a little while, they'll be ready to come out where I'll go into my next step. I'll give them another minute or so. And we can just sort of listen
Now,
to...
let me ask you something.
music.
Once these are made, what kind of things do you serve them with? Do you eat them plain? Do you eat them with a sauce?
Well, you know, it's sort of up to personal preference. Some people just salt them. Some people put a little garlic butter on top of them. And we have prepared here today a little sauce to go with them, which is kind of an orange, lime, cumin, cilantro,
Lots of
oil,
garlic.
a lot of garlic, salt, and
Oregano?
some oregano, correct. And we're gonna put that on top of there.
Oh, and we should say too about these mojitos, this is not a mix. We squeezed the limes ourselves,
We
right?
did. We made some simple
Fresh mint.
Absolutely fresh mint, simple syrup, which is water cooked down with some sugar and rum, of course.
Lots of rum.
Lots
so
of rum.
easy. You really don't go out and buy a mix because this is far superior. It tastes so, it's the
Club
real
soda,
deal.
and really good. Could be dangerous, but who cares?
But by then, this video will be over.
And don't choke on it. Here it leaves. All right, now I'm going to bring out the plantanos for the next
this
stage.
is really hot, so watch yourselves. That oil
Exactly.
is piping hot.
Piping
so
hot.
she's taking them out, and she's not going to shut the oil off because, as Beth said before, these are twice fried.
Correcto.
How am I doing?
You're doing beautifully, baby. Okay, so I thought a can of black beans would be apropos for this. All I do, there is such thing as a tostone flattener. I just use a can myself.
It's a little wooden press that you can buy at the supermarket, right?
So I press them down.
I'm going to hold one up so that folks at home can
They
see.
almost look a
So
little
it's pressed down.
They almost look floury when you do it.
Yeah, you can see the center of the plantain right here, and these little brown spots are the seeds.
And you can just go ahead and drop that right in there, honey.
I will. Watch yourself so you don't get third-degree burns.
Yeah.
But if you've had enough
And don't
mojitos, you
wear
won't feel it.
and don't wear any clothes that you really care too much about
Yeah.
because they'll probably get oil stains on
Then you're
them.
going to smell like fried food, but that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That's not bad. So you put them back in.
Oh, look at those. They're browning right
How
up.
beautiful is
And let's
that?
give a shout out to our cameraman, Ron.
Love you, baby.
Good
My
job.
handsome
My pleasure.
husband behind the camera. I love him more than before. And you see those frying up there? So you fry those until they're golden brown, and the finished product.
Oh, yeah.
Just
That's
like
what
that.
I'm talking about. Look at that. Can we have one now?
We could.
Can we dip one?
I think we should.
All right, let's do it. Oh, yeah.
Baby.
Oh, yeah. Those are
Very good.
unbelievable. All right, folks. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. It was a pleasure being here tonight. Oh, I forgot to mention, we're celebrating our birthdays too, right?
Yeah.
5-1. And we're just going to dance. That's right. Bye, everybody.